Excuse me, I am currently dealing with the cold. And guess what? I still have to go to work. Sorry, let me introduce myself. My name is Talia from Little Miss Outshine, and I do a wide variety of art. And today, it was just going to be one project, but during the process of working on that one project, I ended up creating two. I found this hard hat in the back of my shed when I first moved into this place, and it's been through a lot of things. And I just thought to myself,
it needs some TLC.
And I just decided to add some creatures to it, and during that process of painting the creatures, I just had to bring those creatures to life.
I ended up making an art doll in this video.
So you're going to see a painted helmet and an art doll. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this intro short so we can go ahead and get started. Let's go, guys. Now, to start this journey, I'm going to use wet sandpaper to get rid of the dirt and to help create teeth so the paint will stick. I did that little transformation because watching me sand it is boring. With that being said, now it's ready for primer paint. I'm going to spray 2 to 3 coats of this to help the paint stick. Now, for this helmet, I want to give it that candy effect. You'll see what I'm talking about during the process. What?
This is not what I wanted.
I mean, it's pretty and all, but it's not enough glitter to get that candy effect.
Diamond Dust, I am very disappointed in you.
So I went back to the store to try out Silver Flash. There we go. This is exactly what I wanted. Now all that's left, I need to sand down that rough texture, and it's ready for painting. All right then. Now it's time to whip out the airbrush tools and the pinstripe tape. This YouTuber called Time Warp Custom Paint uses pinstripe tape for his projects, so I decided to give it a shot myself. So what I am currently doing is aligning the tape to certain areas that I do not want to paint, so I can keep it that natural silver glitter. It turns out Azul has to help me. Just by simply wearing the helmet, so you and I have a better view of finishing the details. Now I must say, Azul was very helpful.
Good job, boy.
Now it's time for airbrushing. Now what you're witnessing, I am simply mixing airbrush paint with water to help thin it out, so it could spray nice and evenly. When I apply thin layers, it'll still have its sparkles, hence the title, the candy effect. Now I'm going to go back and mask off certain areas that I want to keep blue, then use a X-Acto knife to trim off any extras, and have that nice even line. Then I'm going to go back over with the lace fabric and this time use a purple airbrush paint to spray on the details. I came home from work and discovered this.
Oh my god!
The tape lost its stickiness, so I have no choice but to remove it. Well, I already discovered some mistakes that I made. How did I not figure out that this is not symmetrical? I don't know. Oh well. We gotta move on. First, I was gonna sketch out the design, but I could barely see my own sketch, so I decided to just dive right in. I was gonna try and have Azul in the frame, but he's taking up so much space, so unfortunately he has to go. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is apply a base coat to all of my designs. Now, at first, I didn't know I was wanting to put on the helmet. That is until I know it's going to be elegant, so you can't go wrong with flowers. Now, I didn't do any heavy research when it came to flowers. I just kind of made up my own and just went with the flow. Now, to go with the flowers, I do know that I wanted cute little monsters. So after doing a bit of research on Pinterest, I saw these adorable butterfly monsters. So I thought to myself, it is done. It has to be on the helmet. Now we're going to flip it around and do the same thing on the back side. Ooh, I got carried away with the sanding. I'm just going to cover that up with more flowers, so you'll never know my mistake, except for now, because, well, I told you. Once I am satisfied with all of the placements, it is time for colors. Now for the color scheme we all know is purple and blue, and then I thought pink would be a nice complementary color. I'm just going to stick with 3 main colors because I figured with the glitters and the gems, that's going to be kind of the star of the show, and I don't want it to look too hectic. I decided to have Starry the wolf spider help me with this, so you and I could have a better view over the butterfly monster. I decided that all of the butterfly monsters are going to be white and pink, but this color choice does help the creatures pop a little bit more and not blend into the background. I'm getting candy cane vibes. I'm not going to lie, this first one is my personal favorite because the other ones just look too cartoonish. But it's staying because I don't have time to fix it and the show must go on.
We can't forget about those eyeballs.
Now, the last finishing touches are the details, which is simply outlining everything with black and white paint. Once we're done outlining the butterfly monsters, it is on to the flowers. Can you guess what kind of flowers these are? Yeah, me neither. But hey, at least it's pretty. That's all that matters. Next up, we're going to add black pinstripe to the glitter pinstripe and also create imaginary vines for imaginary flowers by simply using black paint and
Metallic silver.
paint. And I pretty much did this throughout the whole helmet. I'd love to show you the whole process. However, I ran out of memory on my camera, so the world went
Black.
Don't worry, I freed up some space so we could watch me apply the gems. I'm simply going over each flower and giving it a rosebud using little gemstones. And I'm going to go around the helmet and apply gems that looks too plain to me. Now I'm going to apply 2 to 3 coats of this clear gloss and it is done. I just got to say, I really love how this turned out. Usually when it comes to helmets, I try to go for something epic, but I just love how cutesy and glittery this helmet turned out to be. And after taking a closer look at that butterfly monster, It has to be done. I have to make an art doll. I'm making an art doll. Now first I'm going to whip out aluminum foil and create a nice little base for the clay because aluminum foil is your best friend when it comes to saving money on clay. Now I'm going to be using the butterfly monster that I painted on my helmet as a reference. Now I'm going to be using these capuchons, I call them glass eyes, as eyes. Just makes my life easier on making the eyes. And then once I figure out where I'm centering them, I'm going to be using the sculpting tools to sculpt out the features. Ew, do you like the sound of that? Sorry. I just use this tool to help the eyeballs make it look more like eyeballs. Now, at first I was going to add those cute little lips that you see on cats, but then I decided to get rid of them and just stick with the original plan and have no lip whatsoever. Now, I'm poking holes at the top noggin where the fluffy antennas are going to be. Now, once the head is done, I'm going to bake it, and then it's on to the armature. Before I do anything, I gotta stab a hole at the back of the head after I find the center point. Ooh, I found it! Thank you for believing in me. Now it's time to test it out to make sure that it fits in the hole.
Perfect.
Now it's time to do my best with what I have because I can't afford to buy any more of little armature stuff. Now I'm going to do my best with this wooden rod by creating limbs. Once I cut the links, I'm going to use wire to tie them together. Now at first I was going to add some feet on the ends, but then I decided not to because it doesn't look the same as the reference as I'm using. So I took it apart. Once I am satisfied with my armature, it is time to cut up some quilt batting. Now what I'm doing with my cut up quilt batting is wrapping the armature in it over and over again until it is at the thickness that I want. And also to help cover up the wire so I won't poke myself. Now for the head and fur, I'm just going to do a magic trick to spare you the painful scene that I'm about to go through. Now once all of that's done, we're going to brush out the fur to make it easier for us to use the pet shaver to go around the fur and trim it up to our liking. Now once we're done with all of that, it is time to add fur to the face. And I'm simply using leftover scraps that I have and applying it to the head. I would love to show you the rest of the process, however, I forgot to hit the record button. Aww. Well, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and find the eyeballs and start trimming up the face by doing the same method I've done on the body. Brush it, use a pet shaver, only this time we're going to use hairstyling scissors. Now I have these leftover craft foam that I want to hurry up and get rid of, and I think this is more convenient when it comes to making the wings because I know it's going to be lighter and I'm not too worried about the colors. I'm just going to paint over it anyway, and it's easy to cut out, and yeah, you get what I'm saying. If you didn't, I'm simply painting over these wings because the current colors is not flattering to what I'm going for. Now I'm going to be using this wire as kind of like the bone structure for the butterfly wings. Luckily, the foam that I purchased has this sticky side, so I'm placing the wire on top and using a hot glue gun to make sure it's securely
Down.
Once I'm done with that, I'm going to use watercolor paper to place on the other side. Not only will it help cover up the color that I don't want, but it also makes it easier for me to paint on. Now I'm going to bring out the disappointment fabric fur because it's similar to the color that I want for my butterfly monster. However, I'm going to first shave it off before I do anything and trim it to my liking. I am simply using this fur to cover up the wire that is peering through the paper. I know it's not from the original design, but changes had to be made. I am currently using this acrylic marker to draw out the quote-unquote veins on the wings, and also add a little bit of details here and there. I mean, of course, the wings are not going to look similar to the butterfly monsters on the helmet. However, it does look like that, well, she is part of the family. Now, once we're done with the wings, we're going to jump back to the head because we got to apply the antennas. And I'm simply using these feathers that I purchased because I think that'll be so cute with this. And all I'm doing is gluing 2 feathers together and then gluing it to the head. Now it's time for my favorite part, airbrushing the whole art doll. Now the first thing I'm going to do is mask off certain areas that I don't want to be painted, which is actually quite challenging because I ended up getting over the masking part and had to remove some of the paint. Well, anyway, I am simply using different shades of pink to paint certain features that is similar to the butterfly monsters on the helmet. Now we're going to go ahead and focus on the eyes. I am simply doing little outlining and giving it pupils so it doesn't look
Soulless.
Then I'm going to use UV resin to make the eyes all nice and glossy. Wow, that's terrifying. Now that it's official that we're all going to have nightmares, let's go ahead and focus on the wings. Right now, I am twisting together the wires to make the 2 wings stick together. This thing is so huge, I could not fit the wing in the frame. And all I'm doing is cutting holes on the back to where I could place the wire, hot glue it together, and she is done. I am so glad I made this decision. Just look at her. She is gorgeous. Can't really think of a name for her. I don't want Butterfly Monster because that sounds too vicious, and she is not vicious. You know what? Let's just call her Pinky, because why not? Well, that's gonna do it, guys. You got yourself a decorative hard hat and a cute butterfly monster named Pinky. Let me know if I should make more of these, and until then, well, have a good one, guys.